Do you want your bubbies to show?
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe we'll get a couple more followers. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they're not showing that much.
Show more.
Scandalous.
Evidently, that's what you were doing last weekend.
I was.
What?
Yeah.
I went CLURBing.
CLURBing.
I saw some Instagrams.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the moments that, I mean, so, okay, for context, I'm sober. So I'm not drinking in the CLURB.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a miserable experience for me.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like, I really like my friends, and they're not huge drinkers. Most of them are just a bunch of stoners, because it was like game night people,
Oh, yeah.
because game night's been canceled for a little while, because the guy who hosts is like working on a project and staying up all his time. So, so we've just kind of been hanging out outside of game night on the weekends and stuff while it's not happening. And a bunch of them wanted to go CLURBing to the gay CLURBs.
It was so hot.
Well, the two that we went, because we only went to two. We just went to Charlie's and Boycott.
Yeah.
And Charlie's, as long as you're inside, it was fine. It was also like oddly dead for a Friday night.
Okay, thank you. I thought that the bar looked so empty.
It was.
I was like, did she close the bar out?
No, it was. I got home, but like before midnight.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's surprising.
But no, Charlie's was dead. Boycott, there was a few more people there.
Yeah.
Also for context, Boycott is the only lesbian bar in Arizona. But yeah, it was just me and my friend Seth. We're just having a fun time.
Seth.
Nice.
That's lovely.
Yeah. And yes, I had the biddies out.
I love that for you.
You know.
I'm sure it's very relieving.
Oh, it is. Well, I was still wearing a bra. Or not. Well, I had them taped.
I can't do the tape.
I've never tried.
I've tried and failed. It's not a pretty sight.
I happened to have a little bit left over from your wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And it was enough for one night of
debauchery.
Yeah.
The lights. Every time I fix them, they just go down. I cannot with them. Hey, welcome to Blood and Contracts. This is your Haps and Craps episode so that you can catch up with us. We're hoping you're having a lovely September.
Yeah.
Who would like to go first? Oh, cool. The point to me.
I don't care.
The point, that means you're going second. So get ready, Carlin.
Okay.
Prep yourself.
Gird your loins.
I had a pretty good how many weeks? 5 weeks? 6 weeks? I don't even know. Time just passes by. I only had one crap. The trolls on the internet, because in between last pod weekend, this pod weekend, I was unceremoniously not canceled. Just the racists on Twitter weren't a big fan of me, and that's okay. You can do whatever you want. I still haven't gone to Twitter to see any of what was talked about.
I finally deleted Twitter.
Good job.
Wow.
I didn't delete my account, but I deleted the app off my phone.
Yeah. I've been trying to deactivate my account, but I don't understand how I did this. But you know how it uses a 2-factor authentication app or an authenticator app? I can't figure out which app does Twitter.
Oh.
Because I only have the Google Authenticator. And for some reason, it won't recognize Twitter as something that they will authenticate, which says a lot, I think, about Twitter. But yeah, I made this video after Kamala was nominated when I got home that last weekend. And it was a message to the white women who didn't vote last election or like in 2016, or just voted for whoever the people in their life were telling them to vote for. Mm-hmm. I was talking to like my old self, basically. And at first, all the right people saw it. And then someone took it to Twitter, and I was just ripped apart for being a race traitor, evidently. The only things that I heard about it were the people who would come from Twitter to my account to be like, just so you know, you're going viral on Twitter in Confederate circles. And I was like, cool.
Wow.
And then they would like flood over on a couple of videos for like a week and just rain terror. The worst was my Instagram DMs and YouTube, because we got some really nasty comments on a couple of our YouTube shorts and our YouTube videos because they would like figure out where I was. But I got death threats in my Instagram within that first week, and the death threats just got worse and worse over the week and a half, and then it died off. But
they moved on to someone else.
Yeah, they moved on to someone else.
Threaten.
It honestly only got really bad when a couple of really gross political YouTubers and racist YouTubers made videos about me and related me to a beluga whale, which was super nice of them. Yeah, good
Jokes
stuff.
on them. Belugas are fucking cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Demure.
Very demure. So yeah, that was really my only negative. I had 2 bad, I call them my exclamation point days if they're just really bad days, and they're usually the first day that I'm PMSing. So fun. But yeah, other than that, it was a great month. I just feel really positive everywhere else, feeling super active and focused, ready to be in Virgo season and just keep going with my routines. My friend Elise, who is the sister of James and my best friend and is becoming a closer friend to me, she's been in town because her mom is going through a lot of really horrible health stuff, and she's there to just help her family. But we've been working out at 3 p.m. every day because she just needs like a chance to move her body and kind of get out of the house. And it's been so nice to like be that resource for her, but also to have a buddy again, just to know that they're going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's been really sweet. And she's been killing it in the gym, and I love it. I love training people. Maybe that will be something someday. Other positives and haps, TikTok is honestly just becoming more and more fun the more people that I meet and the more that I create content. It's obviously not being seen by anyone, which is super annoying, but I'm just going to keep going and keep being consistent. Next week, I'm going to be announcing where the TikTok Creator Fund money will be going and being donated to, but I've been waiting because the people that I'm giving money to, we need to like kind of get our ducks in a row. But one of them, I'm hoping they get back to me, is called Simple Soul. They're a food truck, but nonprofit in California. And the creator of Simple Soul was a convicted felon in California for like 13 years. And she got out and she completely turned her life around, became a life coach and an author, published author, and then started a couple different companies. And one of them was Simple Soul. And her whole point behind it was that she wanted to give a resource to felons coming out of jail to reintegrate into life, have a job that will, you know, stand behind them and support them and help with housing and all kinds of stuff. And they're desperately looking for donations just to be able to like give money to their employees and make sure that the lights stay on. So I'm waiting to hear back from them because they just really piqued my interest, and they're in California. And I thought that was really cool to have something local. And then I had a woman named True reach out to me kind of within a week of that first video going viral. And she's in Ohio, which is one of the states that's on James and my list to potentially look at to move in the next 10 years. But she is raising money for Black girls to get back to school braids.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, well, that's just perfect. Like, I love that it's someone just like trying to give back to their community in like very sweet, intentional ways. And she seems so wonderful. We're doing like a Zoom call this weekend, hopefully, if she has time, just to get to know each other better. She's like, I wanted to know more about her. We were emailing back and forth, and she's like, can we just get on a Zoom? I'd love to know more about you and James too, because when it comes to philanthropy, I like my community to know where the money is coming from, because philanthropy doesn't mean that it can only come from your bubble. It can come from outside resources, but it's good to like know who those people are. So it doesn't just feel like strangers are just handing you money.
Yeah.
Which I so appreciated. Yeah. So just more and more stuff keeps coming out of that is so positive and sweet and kind, and growth being one of them. Really excited to see that continue. My other happy is listening to my new favorite podcast, Spousal Obligation.
Oh.
Yes, because episodes 5 and 6 were such a joy to listen to. I feel like I got to understand you and Jansen on so many different levels that I never expected. Like, I didn't know I needed to know those things about you guys, and it was so sweet to get to know you in those ways. And I feel like you're being so intentional with each other and with your conversations, and I could cry. Like, it's so good, Kel. And I loved listening to 5 and 6 so much. I've loved listening to all the episodes, but those have become my favorites because I just didn't know that I needed to know those things.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I needed to hear that a little bit because
Did I kick my camera?
I just feel iffy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
So
just from a perspective of like keeping it going, keeping the lights on, keep recording, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The effort that it takes.
Yeah. Like, what are we going to talk about? What are we like? We were supposed to have an episode come out this last Tuesday and we didn't because August was nutso.
Yeah.
And so we just didn't feel like recording. So we've gotten to 9 episodes total, but can't get to that 10 yet. But I think we'll get back to it. It's just
I think you will too.
A little break.
As long as you're taking the break so that the content gets better and you have more intention behind it, I think that's a huge plus.
And because although like I really want, because we're only every other week, like I want to try to stay as consistent as we can. But if we're not feeling it, like you can really tell that we're just forcing ourselves to record, and it's like we're just here to try to bust through 30 minutes or so to get it done. But
are you feeling feelings that you felt when we first started this? Of just like, what are we doing here?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, the 6 to 10 episodes is the breaker mark. So you just got to get through that.
Yeah.
And figure out your guys' groove. I think with every episode, you get closer and closer to it, just like we did.
Yeah.
But I loved them.
Oh, well, thank you.
Best ones yet.
I'm behind. I'm so sorry.
How dare.
I've been watching other things.
I'm just joking. I get it.
Your non-siblings on a boat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't you want to know more about me and get to know me?
Of course. Yes.
I'm just joking.
So sorry.
I'm just joking.
It's her birthday month.
Yeah. I'm just joking.
My other happy was this random moment on a live on TikTok. I have been trying to figure out like what I like to do on live and what people like to watch. And one of the 2 things is tarot readings, but I've been just doing them for me because I'm educating myself. I'm a beginner. I feel like I do have a clairvoyance, if we want to put it that way, of like what cards mean. And that's why I have those like special moments with you, special moments with Leanne. And I had a special moment with this girl named Jordan on a TikTok live. There was like 7 people in there watching mine. And I got done and I was like, I'm just going to shuffle the cards and keep reading them so I can keep learning them. And if anything resonates, like pop up into the chat and let me know. And I pulled this card and this girl, Jordan, had like just joined, and I start reading the description of the card. She's like, okay, that's kind of weird, but it sounds a little like me. And the card was saying, you are in this predicament where you're choosing between A and B, and A and B are 2 very different paths moving forward. And you're choosing either to like do the A, which is like a big change and a big move forward, or do the B, which is just sit, wait in it, have a season of peace, and like be with yourself. She's like, okay, didn't tell me any details. I was like, well, let's keep going, because on biddy.com, my favorite tarot resource, at the very bottom, non-spawn, but you could be at the very bottom of that card. It was like, if you want to continue this particular type of reading, pull 2 and then 2 more cards. So 4 cards altogether to either pro or con weigh on one side or the other. And the thought is that with the next 2 cards, you'll start to see if both cards like weigh to one side. Yeah. So I was like, she's like, let's keep going. I love this. This is so cool. Pull out the next card, and it's about creativity, positivity, and movement. So like an actual physical move. And I was like, I feel like you're deciding between like a school of some kind, whether it's like training of some kind or just secondary education of any kind, but it has to do with something creative. And I think you're scared to take the chance on being a real creative. And she goes, okay, I'm crying now. I'm choosing this week to either stay home or move from Colorado to go to Duke University to do photography school there.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I have been waffling this entire time because I'm so scared to move. I think it's a really big change, and I don't know if I'm particularly ready or like if this is the time. And I don't know if like photography and like creativity is the thing that I should be doing. So I was like, do you want to keep choose your adventure? Yeah. Do you want to keep going? And she's like, yeah. So we pulled like 2 more cards, and they both of them weighed on like going and just doing the damn thing and like taking a chance on yourself and not looking back and just seeing what happens. And she's like, I I was like, please come back to me in 6 months if you can. And just like, let me know where you're at. But like the conversation between us on live was so fun. Everybody watching was like, this is so cool to watch. And I loved it. So I definitely want to find more ways to do tarot on live. Walking Pad is the other one that everybody watches because I think they like watching people accomplish things.
Yeah.
That's why cleaning lives are really big and organizational lives. But Walking Pad is big too because they just like to watch people like get something done.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was a great few weeks.
Nice.
Ding. Must be nice.
Dang. We kind of like go back. We flip and flop.
I know.
Kelli. Good week.
I feel like I've been pretty evenly split-ish between like happies and crappies. Crappies being work still is just... I feel like I say the same thing every single time. Like, it's just been so crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like end is in sight of crazy season, but as we've been so busy, other ideas and projects kind of get stacked up and they're okay, once things die down a little bit, then we can dive into all of these things. I'm like,
cool.
I just want a week minimum. Like, just a week where like I really don't have to do anything, just to like let my brain shut off. But that's not how jobs work. So
go back to the way that it was.
Yeah. So things are just like you were saying, like, oh, I've hardly talked to you at all this month. And I feel like I've just kind of hermited a little bit, but it is my hermit year. So I'm just taking
You're doing
that
what you should be.
Yeah. I feel like I've just kind of been in my own little bubble.
Yeah.
Of just trying to survive, really.
That's all you can do.
But because August was like a never ending month, going back a little bit. But like at the beginning of the month, I'll fill out my whiteboard of like what events we have going on, just like personally, to have that visually somewhere where I can see it. And July was so busy. I felt like every week had something going on.
Yeah.
And August was very empty, and I was very excited for it. But somehow it has filled up. It had filled up so much that like every weekend we're like, we got to go do this. We got to go run these errands. We got to go
buy a car.
That's a happy that I put down.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah, that was a happy, not an intended thing that we had in mind at all.
But something I feel like you guys have been talking about for pretty consistently for a while.
Yeah, because now that Jansen works from the office 4 days a week versus 3, I'm like, it's only a 1 day difference, but like it feels like a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trapped at home so much more.
So mean.
And so like if I want to go do anything productive or fun, like he has to be home. But like the other car that we have, the first car, just isn't always the most reliable.
Yeah.
It's always really hot and it's miserable to drive in. But now he got a Tessie.
Is that my bestie and a Tessie?
Yeah. So
fun.
Someday he'll let me drive it, and it'll be fun.
Crisp and delightful.
I know.
It's a really cool car.
I'm so excited. I like it so much. So that's definitely a happy. We got a Tesla and it drives us everywhere and it's so cool.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird, but I love it.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. My final crappy was not like super crappy, but with the spousal.
Yeah.
The post that I posted last Sunday got more engagement than I really anticipated, and I wasn't expecting it to be the rage bait that it was.
Yeah.
Never in my mind when I was editing that was I like, people are gonna come for Jansen in this one. And like he looks at them too before I finish. Yeah. Before I like say this is good.
Yeah.
And neither of us were like, that kind of makes me look like an asshole or whatever. Like,
because why would you think that? Like,
because you know your husband and you know he's not being an asshole.
Yeah. And it's a 20-second clip out of a 10-minute conversation. And so, of course, there's going to be context missing. But all the wives came to my defense of saying, he's the worst. Like, why are you expecting this?
Which is also weird because your reaction in the video warranted none of that.
No. Like, I'm not upset. Nope. I'm not like...
You're giggling through like half of it.
I'm giving him the words. I'm saying, oh, you're saying that I'm a stubborn person? Like,
Oh, owning that piece of yourself.
Yeah, which I am.
Word.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Context is everything. I kept telling her all the pros. I'm like, here's the thing. It was only 40-ish ladies.
Yeah.
And a Wubby.
And a Wubby fan. Yeah, we did get a Wubby 7, which was
Do you think that
nice.
Was he wearing something that was Wubby?
He was wearing Wubby merch.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. But yeah, just no one understood context. They just judged a cut down by its cut down and didn't fulfill any work of doing, again, media literacy. Just watch the whole video and or go to our podcast and actually get to know us.
Yeah.
Or watch more videos of us.
Right. And in the very beginning, Jansen goes, this is an exaggeration. Yep. Like I really had to dig to try to come up with something for this, which thank you.
Yep.
For my red flags. But yeah, they weren't happy about it. And I was like, also, you guys don't know me. Like, I'm a very particular person. Like, if the whole episode or the whole context of it was just that I like to have a clean house and I do a lot of the household things. And he doesn't necessarily he does pitch in, but like, sometimes I have to ask him, like, can you please help me with this? I'm really stressed, whatever it might be. But
because he can't read your mind.
Because he can't read my mind. He can't just see that like, oh yeah, there are dishes in the sink. And he doesn't know that like, that's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Whatever. But if I'm just like, hey, can you do the dishes really quick? He'd be happy to.
Yes.
And most of the time he just does them because he sees them there. But it's like, he also knows that I keep a relatively clean house all the time. And I think it looks dirty, but it doesn't look dirty.
No.
And so it's in my brain, not his. So it's like, I have to communicate with that.
Yeah.
I have to communicate that with him. Otherwise he's not gonna know that. But like, that's marriage and
relationships.
Yeah. Like, any type of relationship.
Literally.
People learned the phrase, weaponized incompetence and ran with it.
Yeah.
And don't realize what actual, I was like, if you want to see weaponized incompetence, you can look at her childhood.
Yeah.
But no, like it's just, So, I was getting pissed off for you.
Well, and you saw them before I did because I just closed it. Because that's what they say to do. Like not to look at it at all or like go back and check regularly. So I was like, I'm just going to leave this and go. And then you texted me and I was like,
well, because it came up on my For You page and I saw that there were like 30 plus comments already. And I was like,
and that's a lot for us right now because we're growing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're babies.
Yeah. Don't judge.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And then I went to the comments. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and because that is my brother.
Yeah.
My instant reaction is like, y'all don't know their marriage.
Yeah.
You don't know them. You don't know the man he has become in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know. And just let alone in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Who he has grown into.
Yeah.
And will continue to grow into.
Yeah.
That's
because he's only 32.
I know. And I was like, we were very young when we first got together. This was, and I think I might have said something along the lines in the comments. I was like, this might have been a bigger issue when we first started being together, but we were babies. Like we grew up a lot. We had to grow up a lot together because we were so young. Like
you're both in your early 20s when you started dating. Like,
this is the thing about the internet, though. They just don't care to do their due diligence. But here's what I'm excited about. It's happening. Like things are starting to percolate. Things are starting to get increasingly more viewed, more engaged, more content, more followers. And the haters always come first.
Yeah.
The haters always come first.
Yeah.
And then they
got that haterade.
Yeah. Right. I don't give a fuck. Like, give it to me.
I felt bad the day of just because I was like, that was not my intention with editing it.
Yeah.
And so like I think I felt worse about it than he did. He was like, I don't care what anyone
I know. I saw you like responding.
Yeah. And he was like, I know. He's like, is that how you feel about me? I was like, no. He's like, cool. We're good.
Yeah.
And the two people that matter the most in this situation are perfectly fine.
Yeah. So that was the last of my little crappy.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy about where things are going. I know that it is going to happen. Like, it's inevitable for people to be negative.
Yeah.
But I can't let it get to me. And so
no,
it is what it is. But the rest of my happies.
Yeah.
Between last pod weekend and this pod weekend, we went to Colorado for a weekend and had a fun little getaway and sister time. And it was really fun. And we got to enjoy cooler weather and go kayaking and do all the things.
So fun.
We were very adventurous. Yeah. We fell in love with Buc-ee's.
Bought cups.
Bought cups, candy, shirts.
Shirts too?
Yeah, I almost wore it today.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Yeah. Yeah, we're big Buc-ee fans, so love that. And I'm enjoying that the weather here is getting a little bit more.
It's coming. I can feel it. I can smell it in the air.
I can feel it.
Yeah. So nice. It sucked so bad because like a couple weeks ago when it was like 118, that's when we decided we were getting a new car. And that's when we thought we would order it and have to wait a little bit because our garage has become a bit of a dumping zone for a lot of things because we had so much extra space.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, they're like, you can pick it up tomorrow. We're like, cool.
Yeah, we can.
So then it was, we need to make sure we can fit 2 cars in the garage again. So let's sweat through.
Brutal.
Taking a shelf out, moving it to the back to the shed in the backyard, rearranging all the stuff. And Jansen's like, I'll go deal with the shed. You start working in the garage. And I like walked out into the garage and I was like, I don't know where to start. I cannot.
Your garage is also so hot.
It is.
I walked out there last night to see the car and I was like, why is it so hot in here?
I think there's a little gap at the bottom and it gets all the afternoon, evening sun. So it just like bakes in there. Yeah. And so when I went out to go start cleaning, it's like 5 p.m. and it's just been cooking. And he's like, you can open the garage, but that the sun is right there. I'm like, that's not helping at all.
Inwards.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm not no one's meant to live in the desert. So I'm very much an indoor cat when it comes to summertime. And I had to take a lot of breaks to come inside. I was like, I need water. I need fresh air, air conditioning.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I think most palm-colored people are just not meant to be here at all.
So
evolutionarily speaking.
So much sun.
We're supposed to be, hauling potatoes.
Yeah.
In the famine.
Yeah.
And bulking up for winter.
This is part of why my soul is being drawn to not here. East
Anywhere.
Coast. More east.
Yeah. And north.
Yeah.
Hey,
so,
that's a good collection. You were right. Balanced.
Yeah.
Speaking of Buc-ee's, on my way out to Phoenix now, there is a Buc-ee's, just a tiny little billboard. Not this big, but like not as big as a billboard that says Buc-ee's logo 1,327 miles away.
Oh no!
For like the nearest exit to the nearest Buc-ee's.
Oh my gosh!
Which that has to be like Texas probably. Yeah. But I'm interested to see when the new one opens.
It'll be on your way.
It. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
It's gonna be McDowell or the 10 and Bullard.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I'll meet you there on the way in.
I'll come say hey.
Perf.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hi, it me.
Hi.
I'm the problem. That's my Taylor Swift reference for the episode. You're welcome.
Good.
August kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, we were in retrograde the majority of this month.
Yeah.
I felt it.
I've just felt like shit. Everything in my life has just kind of felt, I don't know,
hard.
Hard, and like I had no control over anything.
Yeah.
And I just felt very irritable and very like, I don't know. I just felt like all my emotions have been like sitting right here all month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's like nothing is positive enough to like lower it down.
Yeah.
Other than Below Deck.
Well, of course.
And us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. This last week, like, things have started to feel, it was like the end of July and the first 2 weeks of the month.
Yeah.
And then after that, things have started to kind of, honestly, like, it sucks. It's because it's both my happy and crappy of the small amount of money that would be a life-changing amount of money in my life.
Mm-hmm. It's so sad.
Frustrating.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've been there so many times, dude.
I'm gonna cry because we finally got a bonus on our last paycheck for the first time in since I moved out, we haven't had one.
Yeah.
We finally qualified for one. And so our bonuses can range from $200 to $500.
Okay.
And so we got like our second tier one, which is the $400 one. And I was like, that $400, I was like, okay, I can breathe.
Yeah.
For like a second. Like, okay, I can like pay off some credit card, pay a little off some of this debt that I'm in right now because of hospital bills. Like, okay.
Yeah.
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 So it's just felt very heavy.
Yeah. And kind of like you're stuck. It's that moment where you feel like you're stuck in this forever. Like this season is going to last forever. And it never does.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But it feels like the longest season of your life. And financial burden will make every second feel like it's scraping by.
Yeah.
And I know those moments. I had those moments in the last 365 days. Like, it's painful and I get it, but it is not forever. Yeah. And you're still doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, Halsey. And I know that you don't live extravagantly. You do love a shopping trip.
I love a $100 Target trip.
Exactly. But it's not like you're doing that every day.
No.
And I just know that this season will be hard because living on your own today is hard. This is not normal. Our country is not
for the
normal.
faint of heart, let me tell you. But I will say, like, my electricity bill went down for this month.
That's good.
Like,
lucky.
August was a lot cheaper than July. No, July capped out at, it was like $183. I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment. Okay, that's a lot. I know that's not
how much did you
I only
pay?
have one more bedroom than you.
I know,
and not another bathroom.
I know.
I've paid $600 last month and the month prior.
Isn't that disgusting?
That's so gross. That's half my rent.
Me too. Yeah.
But this month's was $150. So it went down.
Yeah.
Because I've also just been like letting it be a little warmer.
Yeah.
Later into the day than I usually
would. Have it set to? I'm gonna be so jealous right now.
When I'm home, 76.
God, that sounds nice.
What do you set yours to?
78.
Yeah.
All night, all day long, and at night we turn it down to 76.
During
after
the day,
off-peak hours.
When I'm not home, it's up to 82.
That's too warm for me.
Do you have like a fan at all that's circulating things?
So we have 2 working fans in our bedroom and the office, but
like ceiling fans.
Fans, yep. In the kitchen, the fan is broken. It only goes to 1 speed, and it's the first speed. So it just kind of
nice.
Yeah.
Someone's blowing a hot breath in your face.
Yep. We have a 7-year-old Dyson fan that is still she's working hard for us.
Putting in the hard work.
Putting it in. And that's
Is
usually
that the one from your apartment?
Yeah. That thing is I'll buy a Dyson fan every time. Love
it. Like one of the opening ones?
The oval ones. It's the big
oval
one. I've
always wanted one of those.
They're very nice. And it's an air filter too.
Oh, nice.
So,
and it worked incredibly well when she was in her 400 square foot studio.
Yeah. That thing was air conditioning basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the biggest room is the biggest problem. First of all, the condo is ancient and there's no gap. Like the windows just let everything in, whether they're covered or not. And the ceilings in the front room are really big, so it just takes a lot to cool it down. But okay, so bills are going down.
And the nice thing too, like in the heat of summer, this is what I was gonna say earlier, and I just want to say really fast. July is always the worst, so like it's only gonna get better from here.
That, and I was home a lot more in July.
Oh yeah,
for some reason.
Well, you had a lot of shit going on in July.
I did. Yeah.
Medical. Grandpa. Family.
That was end of June. But anyways. Yeah.
Trickled.
It did trickle. Trickle.
Don't it always?
Yeah. So many.
What other happies?
I can't wait to talk about the book we just read. I'm really glad that it's podcast weekend.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm with my sisters. I'm glad that we're going to celebrate you guys.
Birthday.
Kelli makes good food.
Thank you.
I don't have to grocery shop this weekend.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there are good things. I do have a job. I do have a roof over my head and shoes on my feet and food in my refrigerator.
And new clothes.
I am incredibly privileged compared to so many. And I do try often to remind myself of that. It's just sometimes a little harder days than other.
Yeah.
Bro, we get you.
Happy of all happies though. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna keep talking about this shit. I love Below Deck. I love it so much.
We're like 3 episodes.
I know. I'm not going to talk about it all. I'm just saying that is one of my happies.
By the end of Pod Weekend, I'm going to be fully caught up. I'm going to know exactly.
You won't need to watch it at all.
Yeah.
I got you.
She is your Below Deck.
I know.
Well, hey. It was a funny joke. I'm just kidding. It wasn't a funny joke.
You try.
Yeah, book CLURB.
You be reading that.
Be reading it. The Invisible Life of ADDIE LARUE. By V.E. Schwab. Or by no one.
By no one.
Wink, wink. You'll find that out.
What?
Kelly's 70% through. Is it by V.E. Schwab? Or is it by someone else?
No.
The story will tell.
Spoilers.
Not at all. Just spoopy.
Yeah.
It is our birthday month.
Yeah.
So for our birthday, we would love if you could rate and review our podcast.
As a little present.
Yeah.
Or a big present with a big review. 5 stars, please.
Positive review.
Comments below how you're liking the book if you're reading along with us. Any books that you would want us to put on the wheel for our next book CLURB, for our October book CLURB. I would love a spoopy book. Not like blood and gore, but like a mystery.
Okay.
A thriller. Something to get my heart racing.
I have read some good thrillers recently.
See? Someone's going to have something. So put it in the comments. You can comment on Spotify. You can comment on YouTube. And you can comment on social media, which we can be found at by Googling @blood and contracts. All one word. Mm-hmm. And our website will be up by this episode. Hey, Sister by Blood.
Halsey.
And Sister by Contract.
Kelli.
Thanks so much for joining me on today's episode of Blood and Contracts. My name is Bailey. I'm your host. I hope you have a fabulous week. We'll see you next Monday on another episode.
Bye.
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 Kisses. Love you.
Love you so much.
Bye.